Hello, welcome to Wellness Astrology. I am your astro coach, Sarah here. This is for the moon in Aries. This is April 25th and 26th. The energy is very intense and frustrating. And this is a darkening moon in Aries, headed to a new moon on Sunday in Taurus. We have um, the exact Mars opposition Pluto happening on Saturday. We've been building up to it all week. You've probably been feeling the frustration ever since the 18th. Um, and so, yeah, this is some frustrating energy. We all kind of have to get through it. We've also got the coming apart of the conjunction of Saturn, the North Node, and Venus in Pisces. And so we've probably had some lessons this week as we've moved through this because Saturn, North Node, Venus, it's kind of been that, um, you're kind of being directed towards maybe a different direction. And with Neptune now in Aries, making a trine to the Mars in Leo opposite Pluto, it feels very frustrating. And then you're going to add the moon into that. Moons in Aries are difficult anyway, because they're just fiery. I would say this is a good weekend to be attentive to your hydration, be attentive to inflammatory things, be attentive to where you need to perhaps metaphorically sever ties. Like this is a darkening moon before a new moon. And so during that new moon, you're going to want to set intentions, potentially like long range intentions. But as this moon moves through Aries, this could be like the like sever or cutting of ties, right? And we've kind of been in this process for quite some time. Definitely for the last week or so, but certainly most of this year, you've been kind of ending a lot of cycles. And I'm definitely not saying that the new moon is going to be the absolute beginning of new ones because I still think there's more work for all of us to do to let go of old patterns. But you had the support for the last month, basically, of this Saturn, Venus, North Node in Pisces to let things go, to be done with patterns of behavior, to be done with cycles that you've repeated in life. If you find yourself in the same relationship over and over and over, now should have been the time where you sought therapy or, did some homework as to why do I keep attracting the same loser motherfucker every time? Or why do I keep attracting the same user abuser every time? Things like that. Or maybe you find yourself in crappy jobs or crappy job environments or whatever the case may be. And so you may be done with that. And that's what I mean by severing. Like you don't necessarily have to take the scissors and cut things, although if you're a visualizer, if you're a visualizations type person, you may have visualized yourself cutting cords and things like that. I have definitely done a few of those in my lifetime. Um, and but this may be where you're like, I'm not gonna do that to myself anymore. I'm gonna find a way or figure out, I'm gonna do the healing work so that I don't fall for that, that kind of dude anymore, that kind of chick anymore. Um, or I'm going to make sure that I have a clear idea as to what kind of job I need to get next so that it doesn't disrupt my peace, so that I don't have to bring the work home with me, et cetera, et cetera. And so I know that's something that I have been feeling into is like, okay, like I need to get a part-time job to support the financials for publishing. But here's what I need to get that job, right? Here's the type of job that I need in order to do that, and getting very clear about what that looks like for me. Um, but this chart looks very frustrated, very frustrating with that moon now in Aries, and that Mars opposition Pluto. That's a pure power struggle. So you've probably been feeling it, like I said, for all of this week. This is intense. This is a lot, the universe is asking something very different from you than you have experienced in the past. And so, again, stay hydrated. I would probably avoid alcohol or other inflammatory things, fried foods, things like that. You kind of want to be attentive to what types of oils or fats that you're using to prepare your food in, and things like that. Um, you know, just how they react or respond in your body, right? Um, hydration, you may want to add electrolytes, something like pink salt or kelp salt, not just table salt. There is a difference in how your body can use different types of salts. And so you may be restless, specifically if you are a Virgo rising. You may be very restless with Leo in your 12th house. And so I will be getting the Taurus season, sun and rising signs posted soon, hopefully before this video airs. But yeah, so they should be up and on my YouTube channel, so you can probably go find those in my videos section. What else? Communication could be direct, to the point. Um, you could have some things you need to say to people to get your message across. This is also a really good time to be attentive to your boundaries and not overcommit yourself, because you could burn out with this much fire. You could really burn yourself out. So if you've got like a ton of plans on Saturday or even on Sunday, you may want to scale back a little bit. I know as we have had so much energy in Pisces, a lot of people have really had problems like keeping track of time, and whatnot. So um, that may be something to be attentive to as well. I think that's it. I think that's it. I think it's just a really intense time. We all need to be attentive to the fact that everyone's going through something. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. Root chakra. I've been talking about this a lot lately, but I know this has been an ongoing issue for me, with my low back and my hips, and really being attentive to my own safety, my own security, like the subconsciousness of it. We hear those terms and we think like, if something's guarded or, whatever, that we're okay. But I feel like this is also broader in that, do you feel safe and secure where you are, that if you needed to bug out, do you have the resources to do that? Do you have people who would support you, in doing that? Do you have a steady income, to keep your finances moving forward? Those sorts of things. And so all of those are things to keep in mind, not only during this darkening moon, balsamic moon, but certainly for the new moon as well. I know a lot of people who are really re-evaluating how they provide services, whether they are an astrologer or other spiritual practitioner or coach. People are starting to get more in person with their services. And so that may be like, you may need to let go of some part of you, whether it's a fear of being in public or fear of being around other people. You may need to work through that fear in order to be an in-person service provider. And so, that may be frustrating to you, feeling through that, or, what can you do about it or whatever. So I think this is a frustrating couple of days, with this moon in Aries. I feel like this is frustrating. I think people are kind of getting to a boiling point with a lot of things, and we're going to start seeing some movement in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's, straight up protests or like people just moving because they want something different. So Um, Lots of things going on. So let's see what's up with the tarot for this moon in Aries. Um, mhm. All right. All right, page of Batleths. This is Alexander. This is intellectual curiosity, exploring your options. This is just general like curiousness. Uh, you may be feeling into like I think there's a level of like people are going to get really selfish and self-absorbed, but I also think there's a level of people who want to be of service in a different kind of way. Like I was just saying, like people are trying to get in person with services instead of doing things virtually, um, because they're not getting the gauge of the energy of others. But I feel like there's um some sort of like newness around your own like warrior spirit about yourself, right? Like, how do I word this? Maybe you're just not afraid. You've got like that childlike innocence. There was an episode, what the hell was the episode of Next Gen? Rascals, where the children went up against the Ferengi and basically tricked, was it the Ferengi? I think it was. And then basically tricked the Ferengi, right? They tricked them. So I feel like there's like this trickster, like sneaky uh innocence, like, but yet at the same time, like for the greatest good, right? Type of thing going on. So there could be some trickster stuff going on. Mercury is in Aries. Um, but also there's like this just general like innocent curiosity of like now that you've let parts of yourself go, who are you now? And to get in touch with who you are, sometimes it's fun to just be a kid about it and explore kid things. Also, keeping in mind that you have to be a responsible adult about it and still get your adult things done. But there's still always room for fun. We also got the King of Cloaks. This is the King of Wands upright. King of Fire upright. It's almost like there's a standoffishness about it. Like, um, you're not going to fall for the same shit again, whether it's like how people treat you or you're done falling for whatever, bullshit your local government, state government, federal government's putting out there, or you're not going to fall for the media. You're not going to fall for the same pattern that you've been falling for. You're going to kind of stand up for yourself, be more assertive, be more vocal, be more holding your ground kind of thing. So I feel like there's kind of room for both, right? There's room for the King of Cloaks or the King of Wands that's going to stand up for himself, that's going to be assertive and all of those things. But there's also that child page of Batlets, page of Swords, page of air that's kind of just curious about just playing, and curious about what can I do to kind of like trick people, and not in like a bad way, but more in like a mischievous, um silly kind of way, um or maybe you're just kind of like adjusting your boundaries so that you can find what works best for you, and kind of others are going to just have to go with it, right? um I've said it before, maybe not in here, but like, I mean, my journey coming up is like so uncertain and I'm like, oh my God. But I'm doing stuff I've never done before. And going places I've never gone before. And is it gonna derail me or is it gonna actually be of my benefit? Um, and I just have to trust the process that I'm doing the right thing for me and set boundaries with people and be like, hey, this is how it's going to go because this is how I need it to go. All right, let's see what's up with the, oops, Woodland Wardens for this moon in Aries. All right, we got the Hawk and Thistle. And this is graceful, graceful persistence. Ooh. I mean, graceful persistence. There's no easy way through everything right now. There's nothing easy about what's going on right now. If you really want what you really want, you're gonna have to work for it. You're really gonna have to get after it. You're really gonna have to hit the gym. You're really gonna have to run every day if you want to be a runner. You're gonna have to write. You're gonna have to do what you need to do to have the resources to complete the project. There's no easy thing about 2025. Nothing. There's nothing easy about any of this. You're the one that's gonna have to say, I'm gonna do it this way. And I'm gonna tell you right now, most people do not, first of all, know the process behind the project as it's executed. And two, don't give a fuck unless they're doing the project. They just care that you did the project, whatever it is, whether it's a writing project, producing videos, producing content. Most people don't give a shit how you do it. They really only care about the end result. So I think, this is a good time to be curious about things, particularly as related to earthly resources, because Taurus season, I also think it's a good time to set boundaries. It's also a good time to just kind of like, set your limits, know when you need to rest. It's also a good time to really be attentive to you and what you need and how you need it to go. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you here for the Taurus new moon. Ooh. We're moving right along in this year, aren't we? All right, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great one. Take care.